The Navajo are a Native American people of the southwestern United States. They are the second largest federation recognized tribute in United States.
The Navajo Reservation in the Four Corners area included over 27,000 square miles of land in Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. The Navajo language is spoken throughout the region, with most Navajo speaking English as well.
The language comprises two geographic, mutually intelligent dialects. It is close relative to the Apache language as the Navajo. And Apache are believed to have migrated from northwestern Canada and eastern Alaska.
That the speakers of various other Athabascan languages located in Canada can still comprehend the Navajo language. This type the geographical and linguistic division of the language.
Hogan, the traditional Navajo house, is built as a shelter for their a man or for a woman, since they live in a air four cornered area. Their houses are made for dire mud.
Navajo spiritual practice is about restoring balance and harmony to a person's life to produce health. There are also traditional rites of passage and many ceremonials for blessings. One half of major Navajo sun ceremonial complex is the blessing way, while the other half is the enemy way.
On June 15, 1863, General Carleton issued an order to Kit Carson to attack and round up the Navajos to begin the suffering journey known as the Long Walk. Between 1863 and 1866, there would be 3 marches the Navajo people were forced to take. Their destination was a reservation created by General Carleton called Bosque Redondo near Fort Sumner. The Navajo people would suffer for 6 years. The Navajo people would suffer from sickness, exposure, and starvation. It is said that between 500 and 1,500 Navajos have perished. In 1868, Navajo leaders signed a treaty with General Sherman and are allowed to return 400 miles west to their sacred lands, called by them the Neta, which means among the people. During the first route of the Long Walk, the route cuts through Las Vegas heading for the U.S. Army Fort Union. Why did the first route went up to Fort Union before Bosque Redondo?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that when you start talking about the long walk of the Navajo and the Mescalero Apache, it began in January of 1864. So you have these harsh, bitter, wintry conditions. Some of the trails that were being utilized by the military were impassable. So by default, they would have to take a secondary route, which would lead them through here to Fort Union, 100 miles south down to Fort Sumner. Another reason, and one of the primary reasons why the Army would bring the prisoners here before going to Fort Sumner, was the role that Fort Union played out here in the Southwest. Fort Union was the largest supply depot for the Southwest from 1851 to 1891. So think of food, think of blankets, think of bullets. It's saddles. It's all coming from Fort Union. And for the campaign that was led against the Navajo and the Apache in 1863, Fort Union is supplying that. Subsequently, it's also supplying Fort Sumner and the reservation of Bosque Redondo. So when you start thinking of the meat, start thinking of the flour, the green coffee beans that are being fed to the prisoners there, the majority is coming here from Fort Union. So really, to resupply, the fort for those traveling on the trail, they would have to take this route here to Fort Union, get the essential goods that are needed before traveling down to Fort Sumner.
As the Navajos returned home, the ancient prayer from the Navajo Nightway ceremony must have rung in their ears. The world before me is restored in beauty. The world behind me is restored in beauty. The road below me is restored in beauty. The road above me is restored in beauty. All things around me are restored in beauty. My voice is restored in beauty. It is finished 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 in beauty.
Arise, arise, the horns of the sun. Arise, arise, thunder, thunder.